You're watching the Chaos Protocol on Transplanar RPG, an all-transgender, people of color-led dark fantasy TTRPG show set in an original non-colonial, anti-Orientalist multiverse. If you like what you see, please consider pledging to our Patreon to support the show and get access to a patron-only after-show, early podcast episodes, GM notes, character sheets, and even the chance for your tabletop OC to cameo in our series. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy. The Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy series that may contain content that is triggering for some viewers. Content warnings for this episode include complex relationships, death of loved ones, romance, kissing, flirting, social anxiety, blood, alcohol, smoking, and vampirism. Arc 3, Episode 23. No Hunger, No Mercy. From Praying Beside the Teeth That Killed Me by Connie Chang.
The Research Log of Albina Zhu's Show. Chapter 2. The Fundamental Truth. Harnessing time magic is a rare and precious blessing. A gift. Everyone in the journey is touched by time, but few can return the gesture. Most mortals believe that time is a linear progression of cause and effect. And while this is not untrue, it is also a narrow and subjective perspective. Time can be altered, to a degree, by those with the discipline, patience, and drive to hone their craft. And we call ourselves chronologists, or mages, or prophets, or drifters, or travelers, or vaulters, or sand. That being said, it would be arrogant and deluded to fancy ourselves the lords of time. Time does not obey. She's fickle and selective like that. Of course, chronology is not a question of control or mastery. It is a question of mutual respect. It's a question of love. Over the years, I've met a few chronologists who fail to grasp this fundamental truth. They may make temporary gains in their calling, but ultimately all of them will suffer. Still, we can glean much by peering into the river of time. The nature of time, if there is such a thing, is the subject of active, impassioned debate I'm very much involved in. Most agree that the past informs the present determines the future, and the future reflects the past. It's all so connected. But cause and effect are not so easily disentangled. Linear progression is a comforting illusion, a limited and subjective way to perceive time, and certainly not the only one that exists. I have met gods that dream in ages that shall never be. I have danced with prophets who see past and future intertwined. I have come to question forward momentum and think of her more like a cycle, I think. Or, better yet, a spiral. Or an infinite falling apart where beginning and end encircle each other, intertwined like dueling serpents. Time is a tapestry that weaves and unweaves itself every passing second. She is constantly in motion, and it is this energy that we time mages can harness to ply our craft. The energy of what was, what is, and what could be. The endless interlocking possibilities of past, present, and future. The power we chronologists wield is immense, but like any sharpened weapon, certain responsibilities come with its cutting blade. Our calling is a gift from time. She trusts us with her domain, trusts us with her magic. We must respect that trust, and always try to be worthy of it. A truly attuned chronologist does not seek to control time. They seek to understand her, to build a reciprocal and prosperous relationship with her. The relationship we curate with time is the foundation of our abilities. Personally, Lucy, you are already aware of the details of my relationship with time, so I won't bore my only reader with known variables. Still, we must understand the past to understand the present and the possibilities of the future. By doing so, we can cultivate the knowledge, wisdom, and courage needed to shape a better journey for all. We cannot always force different outcomes, for the journey was made only to be experienced, but we can always make new choices with the time we have. And us chronologists, we have a lot of time.
Strike Team Nova. 5 months, 3 weeks, 4 days, 11 hours, and 29 minutes after the Chosen One dies. 6 weeks, 2 days, 3 hours, and 16 minutes after your arrival in Inferno, and 3 days exactly after Lumièra reopens her chronology book, you find yourselves in a taxicab, speeding across that towering spine of concrete and braided steel known as the Inferno Bridge. You are on your way to the release party of Yara Thakrar's debut album, and everyone who's anyone is invited. You've had your dealings with the spiders and have even attended a bloodbath, but this is an event. As we pan across the worn leather interiors of this cab, what seat have each of you chosen, and what are you wearing? Let's start with Xainan.
Xainan sat in the front again. He didn't even wait because he's been a little bit sore since getting a tattoo that runs from the bottom of his hairline down to the middle of his back. And he wasn't going to get sandwiched in the back with everyone having to lean against the seat. So, sitting in what looks like at first just a simple dress dinner jacket, basically. He leans back, but the city lights kind of glisten off of black on black embroidery of flowers blooming all over his jacket, just the threads iridescing in the city lights. Across the lapels, there's a few jewels of silver and white just hung off, and then in the middle, a sheer black kimono shirt that crosses just at the center of an open jacket. He wears very tightly fitted black leather pants that end in his very nice cowboy boots. Simple, black, not the ones with serpents and arrows on them. And he leans forward, resting an arm on the side, on the door, and looks over his shoulder, making sure everyone else gets in comfortably.
Seir, we pan across the cab to find you.
Comfortably is a funny word. Seir is constantly aware of his size. It is a body he has built over many, many years of training. And that awareness means that in this instance, on a leather-worn interior of this cab, Seir is squashed right up against the door and in the back passenger seat, holding on to the handle just above him and squeezing both his thighs really tight against each other so that his other two compatriots might have a modicum of space while sharing the back seat with him. They are wearing a very intricately embroidered black silk kurta. It has intricate floral embroidery from the collar down the chest. And this kurta is unique in the sense that it doesn't have any sewn on buttons. It is one of those that require custom buttons to be attached to it. He hasn't attached a single one. He also wears a long black dupatta with thick embroidery of crescent moons attached down the border that flow all the way down. He wears it around his arm, and that is in fact the arm that is grabbing for dear life onto that handle as the dupatta drapes onto his shoulder and past his face. And the thread of the embroidery of every piece is in silver. And finally, his trousers are actually a tied up pair of dhoti. It is tied up with floral patterning, the border forming just down the center between his legs, and it also reflects the moonlit embroidery from the patternings before. But you wouldn't notice it now because he is squishing himself against a door as he looks over to the two beautiful people about to enter into the cab and fiddling with his iron hammered moon necklace.
We pan across this back seat to find Lumièra.
Lumièra sighs in frustration because Seir is scrunched up in the back. And you always put the biggest person in the front seat. Everyone smaller sits in the back seat. This is common knowledge, but Xainan just wanted to be different. So now everybody has to be uncomfortable in the back seat. So Lumièra's a bit agitated, playfully that is, but she slides in. And I think the first thing that you see is she slides in leg first, and it's like a white silk pants that she's wearing and like high ankle boots, almost like stiletto heels. And then next thing you see is curls. Like her hair is pretty much down all the way out. And she slides in. She's wearing.
Quick pause, Samm. There seems to be some modulation from your mic. Maybe an internet connection issue.
Oh no. Okay,
Ooh,
hold on.
you sound better now.
Wait,
say a few
I'm
more
gonna
words.
do words, homophobic.
Oh my god, you're totally
Is
fine
the-
now.
Wow, this
Lumièra
is
was
rude.
too hot to handle. Yeah, you broke the internet from how hot
That's
you
what
are.
happened.
Do you think you could take it from the silk pants?
Yeah, so it's she's wearing a pair of white silk pants with black ankle high, really stiletto like patent leather boots, and then just curls kind of fall in after as she climbs in. She typically wears like a cloak, but this cloak is a little different where it's asymmetrically cut. So to her left side it's long and it almost sweeps the backs of her calves. The other half is a bit shorter, but it's sheer, kind of showing almost like a leather harness underneath that she's wearing that's kind of like propping everything up, and the sheer material kind of falls off to the side, almost like her regular trans cloak, and it's embroidered in this beautiful deep, rich, shiny gold. Some are bits of laurel leaves and flowers a bit, and then there's if you look close enough, you can still see her typical clock gear motif adornments as well in it. And she just kind of like plops in and then looks back up and then gets out of the car to let Ying-he get into the middle seat, and then she sits on the opposite side of Ying-he.
Love that. Yeah, Ying-he kind of, okay, sidles in. They are waifish. They are like the opposite of taking up space. They take up basically no space. It's like they don't even exist unless you really pay attention to the fact that they're there. And Ying-he for the evening is wearing a black linen jacket with a mandarin collar and these hard silk buttons, these loose-fitting trousers, and earrings dangling, shaped like glimmering stars. Their long, silky black hair is separated into two intricate braids down their back, each with a strip of fabric woven into it that matches the cosmic patterning on Seir's outfit. They kind of sidle into the middle seat, and then he looks over at you and pats the seat to their left, Lumièra.
Lumièra smiles a bit too much fang, bit too much teeth, a bit, but she does, and sidles in right on the other side of Ying-he.
The cab speeds off. The cabbie is very eager to get you all going. They can sense that you all have an air of importance about you, and before you know it, you're on that bridge. They've like pulled up onto the bridge and you're speeding across over the Inferno River. You can see its tides that look red in the evening, swooshing underneath this massive structure of concrete and braided steel. And as the pale starlight filters through the windows and lands on each of your laps, lighting up your faces, glistening against your fangs. What is the kind of vibe in this cab? How are we feeling about the party?
You know, something always happens at gatherings, right? It never just is fine, right? Are we all in the cab in agreement of this?
No.
Let's not speak it into existence, Seir.
I'm just... And Seir's on edge. Like, ever since speaking on his omen, sharing that with Nova, Seir is relieved and unburdened, but now, instead of the concern being buried deep within his thrumming chest, it's out there. It is known by all who are closest to him, so that makes it infinitely more real, and every waking day is another opportunity for that to realize. And with our track record, granted it was his fault in the Wild Sea, and granted it was also kind of his fault in the Kingdom of Heaven, he is concerned. And they're wearing these sort of like leather sandals, and we can hear it like tapping very quietly on the leather flooring of the cab.
You're going to be okay, Seir, and it's like we discussed. We're all here for you. We're here for each other. Even if someone tries to... And Yinghe glances down at their miniature pear pad. Start some shit? Is that the phrase? We'll have each other's backs.
Yinghe,
Did I
what
say
made
something
you think
wrong?
I told you to leave the pear pad at home? Don't give me that. What happens if it
Okay.
breaks? Or someone steals it?
I don't know. I'll get really upset, I guess.
Exactly, which is why I told you to keep it at home. But now it's out, so keep your eyes on it.
Didn't you say
That's
most of the
responsible.
data on that's kept in the sky or something?
The clouds. The clouds.
Yeah, the clouds.
The data is stored in the clouds. I don't know
You
how
just
they
hear
get it up
a
there.
thunk of Lumièra's head just hitting the side window, just so exasperated.
Mila, do you need me to hold it while we're at the party?
Do you have any pockets?
And Seir looks at his dhoti. How big is the parapad? This is an important question.
It's like
a
a
miniature
mini pear.
one,
It's
so
a
it's
miniature
like-
pear pad,
Oh,
larger
little-
than a phone.
Easy. You see, all right, this is for all the South Indians in chat. We see Seir look at his dhoti, and you see them like readjust. They kind of like take up a little more space in this moment as they readjust a couple of the knots in their trousers as they expand the size of their tied-in pocket. It's like, yeah, I can keep it now. There's more space
Oh.
now.
I also have
Thank
my
you.
bag.
I'll keep it with Seir.
And
Everyone
Seir
watch
sort
Xainan
of-
pack this very normal bag that on the outside looks like essentially just like a nice man's purse, a black leather trim rectangular bag.
Thank God. I thought you brought like a rucksack with us or something.
No. He brought a very nice gentleman's purse, which for
Okay,
the
good.
record, men's purses are gorgeous. Anyways, and he has tucked most of his equipment from his hunting gear into this very rectangular black, like patent leather purse. A normal thing that normal people carry. A purse full of vampire hunting equipment.
Yinghe responds to you as you like offer the bag, a little exasperated and annoyed in his voice. No, I don't want my screen to get all scratched up again.
Sorry, I don't have a divider in here.
Xainan, please tell me you did not bring all of your equipment. Can we just have one nice out where we don't need our emotional support stakes or pear pads?
It's a nice steak, and it's gonna be fine. I wasn't gonna leave without it.
Okay, so here's the deal. Yes, we are going to Yara's party. Professor Ifueko and all of my classmates are going to be here. I would really appreciate it if everyone was just on their P's and Q's around Professor Ifueko. It would just, it's really important to me that this is as normal as, and she says normal in a tone which you know nothing is ever normal for Nova. So she's just begging for a taste, a semblance of possible normalcy. Please.
We won't let you down, Lumièra.
Normal.
Seir looks at you, Lumièra, with as soon as you said Professor Ifueko and your classmates, they register it. Because they know how important your school, your university, and these relationships are to you. And you see Seir's eyes shrink, the pupils shrink into pinpricks as the social pressure mounts on his shoulders. And he says, Yep, best behavior. I don't have weapons. I didn't even come to Inferno with weapons, so best behavior.
Lumièra looks over at Seir and grins, so grateful that they are the only one that is taking this seriously, and like reaches.
The look on his face. For it's important for you to know because you were the only one that's seen this, but Seir doesn't know that you were. This is the same face he had when Amaru spoke to him, and everything went to hell. It is that same level of nervousness.
Lumièra registers that, and if she had blood to run cold, it does.
Yinka leans into you, Seir, and whispers in your ear, "It's okay. On my pair pad, I have a list of conversation starters if you need them. They're organized by type of violent conflict."
Oh, thank you. I don't. It's that.
Xainan is being as sincere as he's been in most conversations since we've gotten to Inferno. It's like the serious agent that you all knew is on vacation and has not shown up. And he does sincerely mean it. He thinks that he is being normal for Inferno, where everyone is just like this.
That's true. That is important context. So really, conversation starters about types of violence is not terrible, right?
Does anyone any ideas, like just anatomy, physiology, normal conversation topics?
People normally
Psychology.
talk about physiology.
Yes.
I don't know if anyone in this cab is normal, except maybe the driver.
Sorry. Xainan leans over to the driver.
Hey, speaking of which, we're here. My bit character for the driver.
We're here.
Please give this to me. Give this to me. See in the background. Give this to me. The cab.
If y'all could see, C looks so tired.
Yep.
C looks so tired. They're so exhausted already.
We're here. Good to...
The cab pulls to a stop in front of your destination, and as you all pile out, you feast your eyes upon the Ojumi Huyen Alumni Hall. This is a old, austere building of rain-dappled brick, slate-gray roofing, and towering columns crowned by medieval parapets. The building's many windows glimmer in the darkness, ringed by intricate carvings of laurel wreaths and running foxes. A wide lamp leads you toward imposing doors carved from stately oak. As you pass through the threshold and feast your eyes upon the interior, you see something as magnificent as its facade. The auditorium you enter into is quite traditional, featuring a proscenium stage, balcony boxes, and solid wood floors, but the decor matches the spiritual heart of the event. The alliance between House Thakrar and House Huyen. Select pieces from the ICMA decorate the floor and the walls all around you. You see installations that skew toward the eclectic, the modern, the industrial, and cutting edge. A ziggurat of box TVs displays a looping film of hands, lips, rings, leather. You see lasers and static projecting onto a temporarily erected wall. You see hanging collages mashing classical influences with contemporary twists. This is a pop-up installation meets an underground film festival, and the people here certainly reflect that. The attendees of this party range from street artists in t-shirts and sneakers to tenured professors in cocktail dresses and heels. It is a vertical slice of everything Inferno has to offer when it comes to innovation and artistry. Critics, curators, researchers, writers, painters, academics, anyone with an instinct for pushing boundaries. A few key players dominate the beating social heart of this artistic gathering. One of them is the professor herself, garbed in a breathtaking orange dress. Her hair is twisted into an elaborate updo that glimmers with golden jewelry. Bouquets of wildflowers decorate the spokes of her wheelchair, prominently featuring foxgloves. Twayan's hazel eyes land on another key player in this space, Yara Thakrar. The matriarch of the Spiders wears an ultra-lightweight burgundy suit and loose-fitting, high-waisted trousers of the same fabric, cinched by a sleek, braided belt with thin, dangling gold chains and a gold buckle shaped like an orb weaver. The jacket is open, revealing a shirt made of spiderwebs? No, richly embroidered silk, spun with sheer satin webs. The thin gaps between threads reveal flashes of her medium brown skin, her collarbone, her chest, her midriff. A steep V-shaped neckline plunges toward her navel, held aloft by sharp, wide collars that rest over the jacket shoulders like the wings of a diving hawk. The webs glisten with hand-placed crimson beads that evoke drops of falling blood. Striking geometric makeup adorns Yara Thakrar's sharp, angular face. An eye patch, woven from the same cobweb silks of her shirt, covers her missing eye. As the professor smiles and approaches the weaver, we find another key player of the night's festivities. This one has been circulating the floor all night, checking in with groups, managing vendors, maintaining that delicately balanced atmosphere of elegance and structure. Rhododendron Thakrar, how has the hosting been going?
It's been overwhelming, but it's been going well. How can it not? This is for Yara, after all. And when you look at Ro, well, you hear them before you see them tonight, because Ro's hair is held in a singular long plate with a paranda woven through it. And the paranda has mirrors hanging off of the ends that jingle against each other with Ro's every movement, so you know exactly where Ray is in the room at any given time. Ro today is wearing a black top with broad shoulders, all sharp angles, with a plunging neckline that reveals their white ink tattoo of Stabilamenta that has now been expanded out, crawling up their neck, their hands, all of the top of their body. A warning to all in attendance. Ro's shalwar pants billow out at the bottom, and their normally spindly build and frame is now changed into a very large silhouette, resembling a spider's web. Their all-black outfit is punctuated with embroidery of white yarrow in commemoration of the person of the hour. The embroidery is done in a traditional Pakistani style, geometric florals that are repeated in circular patterns along the fabric. They are mixing Pakistani fashion and architectural motifs in their outfit today. And hanging loosely off of a single shoulder is a dupatta, mesh and see-through, twinkling as Ro moves. And of course, we can't forget that Ro is wearing Rare's signature high heels with spider webs crawling up Rare legs. And they are moving quickly and often around the room, dealing with everything that needs to be dealt with. And to those with a discerning eye, I think you would notice that while yes, Rhododendron is performing, as Ray must, as Ray does, that practice smile on their face, sometimes in certain conversations about Yara's music and the album and everything that this event is for, does that smile actually reach their eyes?
And then, Rhododendron, your gaze is drawn toward the entrance. Your eyes fall on the newest of newcomers here, House Nova. House Nova stands at the threshold of this auditorium, taking in the night's festivities with curiosity and interest. But before you, Ro, can make your way over to them, they are swarmed by other vampires. Lumièra, you recognize these undead descending upon you and your strike team. They are the other members of Professor Ifueko's inner circle. Grad students, lab partners, viciously delightful academics who match your hunger for knowledge. And tonight, they are hungry for that most guarded of mythologies, your story. TJ leads the charge, shouting your name over the din of chatter and music. Hey, Lumièra, there you are. You finally gonna introduce us to your friends?
Of course, yes. And Lumièra will turn and start introducing one by one by pointing and gesturing essentially at them. This is Xainan, and
Hi.
my friends Seir and Yinghe as well. Y'all, this is you remember I was telling you about the group of students from uni, my program that I hang out with. Yeah, these are
You
some of them.
mentioned.
Yes.
how
Hi, we're
do you
very
do?
normal.
Oh.
Lumièra looks just and just grins and just steps over to Yinghe and just puts her arm around Yinghe's shoulder, just and rubs it, just calmly smiling, but it might just have a little too much rub into it, but it's still just a smile. And out the corner of her mouth, she's just like, great job.
Thank you. The rest of the grad students kind of raise their eyebrows. A few of them laugh good-naturedly, and TJ's eyebrows shoot up, but then they let out this big warm laugh, and they clap Yinghe on the back, who goes, oof, because TJ is an extremely attractive, very confident stud with these long black locks that are currently kind of done up in this ponytail, and they're wearing this gorgeously tailored red velvet suit jacket over this white collared suit that's kind of buttoned all the way up with a matching beautiful blood red tie. And with one hand in their pocket, they nod and they shake Yinghe's hand, and they actually go down and they shake each of your hands. But then after this kind of display of formality, they let out another laugh and go, ha, I'm just messing with y'all. Come on, bring it in. And TJ kind of gives a bro hug to Seir and a big thump on the back to Xainan as well.
Thanks.
TJ, do me just a slight favor, just one. I know that you meant it well, like the clap on the back, not
Yeah,
to
that
my
hurt.
friends, please. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely,
thank
absolutely.
you.
Sorry about that.
Xainan starts to pull off his jacket, and now visible through his entirely sheer shirt is his brand new tattoo. Yeah, this is it's still healing.
That ink looks really nice, man.
Thanks.
Come here.
Thought I'd show
Lumièra
it off.
notices really quick and reaches into the side of her cloak, and there's a part that's right up at the behind your neck that's getting a little dry, starting to peel. So she has some antibiotic tattoo cream that she just thumbs across the top of the back of your neck just to seal it.
Thanks.
Hey, actually, we had a couple questions we want to ask you. Do you mind if we steal Lumièra for a second?
You mean pick her brilliant brain? Have
Of
it.
course. I mean, who doesn't want to?
If she so wishes. Seir
Oh.
looks at you.
I'll be right back. I promise.
Of course. Take your time, please.
And this crowd of grad students sweeps Lumièra away and kind of like pulls her into the ebb and flow of the social night that's happening. And as they do, Lumièra, you kind of walk off with TJ and the rest of your friends, and you you hear one of the other grad students kind of lean in your direction and kind of giggle at you. Oh my god, Lumièra, you didn't tell me your dad was hot.
Oh, fuck.
Lumièra looks so disgusted. She looks just like you would if someone were to tell you that your parent was hot. Like it like not disgusted, it's just any other way of just being like, I could have lived and died a million lifetimes without ever knowing that information.
Sorry, I couldn't resist it. Keep it to myself next time. Is he single? Sorry, keeping it to myself.
No, actually. He has someone back home.
Oh, okay. Well, they must be very, very lucky.
He is, they are. They're happy. And she says that in a way of being like, yes, he's happy. Now stay away from my dad.
And then you hear a calm voice kind of cutting over the chatter in your direction. Ah, Lumièra, there you are. And you see the professor. A sea of people kind of parts as she nods in your direction and with a kind of like twist of her chin gestures for you to approach her.
I think Lumièra's feet bring her to Professor Fuego before she even realizes it. It's like she blinks and she's right in front of her.
Professor Ifueko gives you a small but genuine smile, and as she kind of nods up at you, the other people she's in conversation with, they like politely excuse themselves as she turns her full attention toward you. She says, I have been meaning, actually, to pay you a compliment for that latest piece of coursework you've turned in. Very impressive work, Lumièra. Continue to blow me away.
Lumièra looks so bashful. She's blushing, like brushing her hair behind her ear, kind of like trying not to make eye contact, but still kind of is making eye contact. Kind of, I find your class fascinating. That's all. The work really calls to me. And I like your approach.
Oh, what about my approach do you like?
Some professors can just kind of take and regurgitate the information itself, you know? They don't really have that much ties to it or are able to pull on any type of real life or real world experiences that can further our understanding in relation to the concepts that you're talking about. You have a way of making what at first could seem like something that could never possibly be relatable or understandable. You have a way of making that simple, digestible.
Thank you. It is a teaching style I have honed over many decades of laboring at this institution. I'm glad it resonates with you.
Yeah.
Actually, if you all don't mind if I grab a private word with Lumièra here. And the rest of the grad students, they nod and they kind of give the two of you some space. TJ gives you, like, raises eyebrows at you and looks at you a bit suggestively and kind of walks off. Kind of giving you a, like, good luck, you got this kind of look. And then
You wanted to
it's
speak to me
just you.
privately?
She kind of wheels herself over to off kind of toward the ziggurat of TV displays, where a couple people are like looking at the installation with thoughtful expressions on their faces. Over here is a bit more quiet, a bit more of a reclusive area. And The professor, while regarding the art, says, I don't just mean to compliment you for the sake of complimenting you, or simply for jobs well done tonight, Lumièra. I wanted to really tell you that I'm proud of you. Over these past few weeks, over the course of the semester, you have grown immensely as a student. And believe me, you started very far along already. It's extremely impressive.
There was a list of things that they could have said to her that she was like thinking could have possibly have been said, and a few she really, really wishes they said. But being proud, someone actually applauding the work that I put in, that's new. And Lumièra doesn't know how to take that. And you can see it in her face, in her eyes. She doesn't really know how to take that. She looks almost confused, but like knows logically that she should be like grateful and saying thank you. So she's like nodding and saying thank you, but in her eyes you can tell she's thrown.
You are definitely the type, Lumièra, to keep pushing, to keep digging, to keep seeking and searching and working. It's part of what makes you so brilliant. But your brilliance also comes from deep within. No one can ever take that from you. I just wanted you to know that.
And she kind of sits with that because she's noticed it too, internally, the growth that she's made. And she just kind of looks up and smiles. I will. And I won't forget that important lesson.
Good. And when are you going to start calling me Toyin?
Thank you, Toyin.
There we go. And she reaches out and squeezes your hand. It is a gesture from her that doesn't feel like an overreach, doesn't feel like an imposition. It feels natural and comforting. Those cold fingers around yours, looking up at you, and it's reassuring. And then you hear a voice from behind her, Mother, as we see Anise Ifueko approaching her mother with 2 glasses of drink, 2 flutes of it, coming toward you. You've met Anise briefly in passing before, here and there, coming in and out of Toyin's house, but never a full, proper introduction. And you see a young black woman with short braids, glimmering with hair jewelry, wearing a tailored suit of this deep, rich purple, kind of a crushed velvet on the outside. And Toyin lets out a big smile, a very genuine smile. This whole time in this social situation, Toyin hasn't been insincere, but has that kind of guarded manner that everyone in Inferno kind of carries around each other when they're out in public. But that relaxes around her daughter, and you see her look up at her daughter, Anise, with a familiar expression. It's the same expression she looked at you with. A genuine, prideful glimmer in her eye as she accepts the drink, turns toward the 2 of you and says, I think it's time for a proper introduction between the 2 of you. Of course, Anise, Lumièra, Anise.
Anise, pleasure to meet you, and I love that outfit, girl. You look great. And Lumièra will reach out and shake Anise's hand in greeting.
And she shakes yours back with a very genuine gurgle of a laugh. And we rotate over all of these bodies, all of these attendees, through the throng of social activity to find Xainan. Xainan, in the wake of Lumièra being led off by this crowd of grad students, where do you find yourself drawn to?
Xainan goes to look at the art. He's curious and drawn to this collection that isn't art that he can understand the financial value of or the cultural value of. He just is drawn to it as art. Most of his interactions with art have been for mission reasons or for maybe less than legal acquisition reasons. But in this case, it's just art. He has no other reason to absorb it other than it's there. And it's actually very refreshing, like many things in Inferno, for him to just enjoy it.
What piece in particular are you gravitating toward?
I think he goes to one of the pieces that's sitting out on the floor, a sculptural piece that is meant to be experienced all the way around. And he's just slowly walking and examining it and watching the lights hit it and having deeper thoughts that I think even he realizes about what it means to observe art in the place that it is. Maybe Ro has been having an effect on him the longer he has been here.
And then you hear a familiar voice to your right say, "Quite the party, huh?" And you see Sakti.
Tell you what, certainly has a lot more going on than I expected.
I like this piece, though. Have you seen it from this angle yet? Come on.
No. And he just follows Sakti. This has now become nature.
Sakti tonight is wearing a white-collared shirt. The top few buttons are undone with like a loose tie. You know what I mean? Like a loose tie around it. And like these nice dress pants, these nice dress shoes as well. And she stops at that angle that she mentioned. And you notice from this position, the sculpture loses a lot of its structure, a lot of the hard edges. It's outside and it curves in, a lot of concave shapes, a lot of smooth surfaces, almost like opening up a more intimate or vulnerable part of itself that is otherwise unnoticeable. I think I like this angle the best.
Those lights over there don't hit this part.
No, it's completely cast in shadow, and yet kind of feels like the realest part of the statue to me.
I like it too.
So, listen, Xainan, how have you been enjoying your couple of months? Has it been months yet at this point? Couple of months in Inferno.
It's been good. Nice to find like I'm finding my feet.
You strike me as a cat-like man, Xainan. You always land on him. Seems like you're having fun with Anu as well.
We sure are.
It's been a while since I've seen her laugh that much.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I don't even think I'm that funny. She must be really having a good time.
Well, she likes tormenting you, and you're a good sport. You like to be tormented.
I do. It's been good.
Listen. You've been a good help to the bears these past few weeks. More than just a good help. Hell, you've basically been one of us. That's actually why I wanted to find you tonight. Listen, Esch. There's a seat in our house if you want it.
Xainan doesn't realize it, but the floor vanishes for a moment. An outstretched offer of home. And then the noise comes back, the room full of people. That's very kind of you. The city, that kind of promise, I don't take it lightly.
I don't offer it lightly. And listen, Esch, you don't have to reply tonight. Think on it. Sleep on it. But, offer's there if you want it.
That means a lot. Really, genuinely.
Of course. You know, I've been around you long enough to know that you're the real deal, Esch.
I just wash dishes good.
I mean, that too. You're a very efficient dishwasher. That's the real reason I'm offering you this seat. No, you care about the people around you. Deeply. That's what matters here.
Sakti Kuatun is a wonderful house, place, people. And Xainan looks around the room, searching for other threads of home. Seir, Yinghe, Lumièra. Whatever choice, it isn't because I don't think you're all wonderful. But I'll think on it.
Yes, why don't you sleep on it and think on it, Xainan? But don't worry. I can handle rejection if that's what it comes to.
Oh, I don't know. There's not a lot of other places with scratchy vinyl booths like yours.
The scratchiest vinyl booths in all Inferno, guaranteed. Now, come on. Let's look at this thing from over here.
Alright.
The two of you pace around, and as you vanish behind the hard angles of this sculptural piece, we pan around the space to find Seir. Xainan's gone. Lumièra's gone. Where are you?
I think Seir and Yinghe are walking the space together. Seir mostly because they're looking for the anchor they always look for at a social event, which is the drinks and or snacks table, for him to find
Seir?
a plate or snack to nurse.
To your horror, there's no, like, corny punch bowl here. There's no table laid with food. None at all. There are other tables, beautiful ones, scattered throughout the room for places of rest, so people can, like, take a load off their feet and kind of just talk in private. But in terms of the food, they're on the plates of servers circulating around with hors d'oeuvres and drinks.
I think this walk has gone on for maybe like 2 or 3 minutes, and Seir's like turned on his hunter instincts to search for this oasis. And to his horror, finds no punch bowl, no little corner to nurse his drinks, or I mean, there's the respite chairs, but that's not really what he's looking for. And he turns back to like Yinghe by his side, and they think to themselves, this isn't so bad. I can just keep walking the space with Yinghe, and it's just kind of like this very nice walk around the space because there's art installations everywhere, folks moving in and out, and Seir's just taking a moment to be and look at the space. I think there's a whisper of Artemis's voice in his head of like an old training session to take it all in. That's what he's doing right now.
Yinghe is by your side as ever. Your loyal shadow has kind of followed you to and fro, also trying to find food and drink with you. And when the two of you fail, I think you kind of end up wallflowering a little at the edges of the party, looking at all of it, taking it all in. But Yinghe feels quite content next to you. There's no anxiety thrumming from them. They're people watching, which is something they've always done. They've confided as much in you. Back on Zhiguang, they would just watch, look, and learn. And here, they do the same. They're in their comfort zone, watching, looking, learning. But overwhelmingly, their silver eyes are glued onto Lumièra.
I think after a few moments, Seir finally flags. Am I able to flag down a drink for us? I think we deserve a drink as a snack.
Yes, I think a couple servers don't notice you. Like, not because they're rude, but they literally don't notice the two of you going, and And they go like past, but then the third one comes and you are able to flag her down and get something.
Amazing. Does this have any impact on my thirst track? Because I'm a hunger boy. This is important for me to know.
Yeah, several of these flutes are filled with crimson liquid that does entice your vampiric nostrils.
Great. When Seir finally flags down, picks out two flutes, hands one to Yinghe, and I think that's when his eyes were initially drawn over to some of the hand chosen paintings that were here. These like larger statuettes and installations interest him, but they aren't as eye-catching to him as paintings are. And as his eyes like linger over brushwork for a moment and then onto the like hordes of people, finally sees Xainan, notes where Xainan is, and when Seir's eyes fall on Lumièra to track where both and all Novar are, as he does as their protector, his eyes fall on Yinghe and realize that Yinghe is looking in the same direction as he is, and he leans in and says, Hila, did you see something?
Oh, nothing bad. It's just people
good.
watching. And
You're really good at
keeping
that.
Eyes on Nova. Yeah, it's the benefit of being a shadow mage. People don't tend to notice you. I've heard many things in many rooms.
In here? Anything?
This room? Yes, I've heard many things too. All good things, actually. People are talking about how much they're impressed by Rhododendron Thrakar's hosting abilities. Some of them, I think, were rooting for them to fail, but overall, very, very positive.
If I get a better sense of Ro, I feel like that's something Ray would really appreciate.
Yes.
So maybe that's a good thing. And Seir like lingers over Lumièra and Xainan once more, and it's just like, yeah, it's nice to be in a nice place again, you and I. I believe the last time we were at a party, our dance was interrupted. I think I owe you one, right?
And Yinghe kind of shuffles a little on their feet, and for the first time you feel a bit of nerves come in, but also excitement. Yes, the last time we were interrupted, I was shunted out of that plane of existence.
I'm sorry about that. Artemis has that effect on people.
Her presence shunts people to other planes.
Even if you don't get shunted physically, it does feel that way.
I see. She is a hand of fate after all. But I would not turn down a dance.
Amazing. And like you see that like boyishness begin to peel past the nerves of Nova's protector as he like smiles a little sheepishly. He's like, well, if we get an opportunity, I think Yara's playing music.
Yes, the invitation said that Yara would be playing a set, a couple of select songs from their album. I'm really excited.
I am as well. So maybe then?
That sounds good. And then you see their eyes kind of float back to Lumièra.
Is everything alright, Yinghe?
Yes! Yes, Lumièra looks really good tonight. You do too. As does
Redness floods his face. Any blood he has consumed has gone directly back to his face in reflection of human experience, as he feels his undead heart race a little bit, and he stares at Lumièra the same way he has stared at Lumièra all his life, ever since he met her. This longing, this love, that even now, with everything he's discussed with Professor Fueko, watching the three of them, Professor Fueko, her daughter, and Lumièra speak, there's still some discomfort for Seir about what role he is meant to play, if he is worthy of that, of what he's always wanted, if that's even his place. But the love remains. It always will remain. And his pupils dilate, looking at Lumièra and looking at the gorgeous dress she is in, and he just, like, there's a wistful sigh, like he is a protagonist of a romance novel. This wistful sigh as he just says, yeah, she's dazzling.
She really is. Seir, you know that no matter what happens, between you and anyone else, I still love you.
Did I do something?
No, not at all. No, I just mean, like, you know, if your heart beat quickly for someone else, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Oh! He says that a little too loud, I think.
Several heads turn to look at you.
A few heads turn. And so it's like, sorry. Oh, I suppose we haven't really... Yeah, And Seir, like, closes his eyes as he pushes his fingers through his hair, and he says, and I feel the same of you. If your heart, if you feel a connection, a tenderness, there'll be no quarrel for me or argument. I want you happy, Yanhuan.
Me too.
And, like, Seir smiles and presses a, like, kiss on Yanhuan's forehead. And I think Yanhuan can tell that Seir this is a conversation that has sat in Seir's ribcage for so long, and now that it's finally happened, there's a relief, and there's that little sigh that escapes his lips as he says, good, I love you, Neela.
I love you too.
And
I'm trying out a new pet name for you.
I've never had one before.
Baobei.
Well, except asshole, maybe. That's from...
A pet
That's
name?
from... That's from Abasi.
Oh, Abasi. That is cute coming from Abasi.
Yeah. I miss her. Now, and Seir kind of, like, leans in shoulder to shoulder with Yanhuan, and he asks, what else do you see? And his eyes linger on Lumièra for a fraction of a moment as the question lingers again. Could we?
We, speaking of which, pan across the party to find Lumièra. Lumièra, at this point, Anise and Toyin have excused themselves to kind of go off and meet and greet the rest of Inferno here as well after that introduction with you. So the rest of the grad student coterie returns to your side, and they've been chatting with you, talking about the latest academic developments at IU, your various research projects, whatever's been happening in the town. And TJ kind of, like, sidles up next to you, kind of leans in and says, based on your expression, I'm guessing the professor wanted something really good.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
Hey, I wasn't talking about that sort of thing. It just seemed like, you know, the two of you were really hitting it off. Good news, right?
Always great news. Yeah. Toyin was just explaining to me that they were very impressed with the work that I had been doing.
Wow. A compliment from the professor. You know, she never bullshits, so, good job, Lumièra.
That's why I'm holding it in such high regard.
As you should. I'm shitting bricks thinking about the feedback she's gonna give me on my paper, though.
Well, no one told you to do the outline 2 days before it was due. I told you to get at least 2 weeks start on it prior.
I know, but can you blame me for wanting to change the thesis last minute? Because I was realizing with all the source materials that... Listen,
yes,
I am
can
a
blame you
student
for wanting to
of
change the
truth,
thesis last minute.
Lumièra. I can't abide by a thesis I can't stand by anymore.
Well, hear me out. What if we put so much forethought into formulating our thesis from the beginning that we knew that there would be enough sources to then back up what we were trying to claim going forward, so that we wouldn't have to change our thesis.
You got me. You got me, Lumièra.
I'm just devil's advocate here.
Not even a devil's advocate, just an advocate for proper, academic procedure.
I mean,
man, you're so good at this shit.
What can I say? And Lumièra just kind of like laughs like a little haughtily in relation to that and brushes her hair like all off of her shoulders and kind of like stretches out a bit, not really paying that much attention, but it almost looks like it's in slow motion as she's doing it.
Yeah, TJ's eyes follow the slow motion draping of your hair, and like whatever like next cocky remark they were about to say kind of catches in their throat a little, and they kind of clear it and smile and look back at you, and they lean in and say, "Actually, Lumièra, I don't know if your ears have been burning, but kind of seems like your friends have been looking in our direction for some time." They kind of jerk their head toward the periphery of the party where you see Seir and Yinka just
Lumièra does that thing where she does not turn around, like she does it very subtly to catch out the corner. And that's why she fixed herself. She felt Seir's stare across the room. So, and she just turns, but peeps Yinghe too, and it's like, noted, and turns back to their conversation. If she had a heart, it'd probably be thudding wildly in her chest, but she doesn't, so she plays it very, very cool. But she is shitting bricks on the inside, but you can't tell. Very
cool, calm, collected outside, inside
cool, calm,
hyper
collected. Yep.
Definitely. You see TJ's eyes linger on Seir and then on Yinghe a beat longer than Seir, and then TJ grins and shoots Yinghe a wink, and then you see Yinghe's eyes like slide off of you and onto TJ. They kind of startle a little, and you see a bit of color, the blood from their drink also flushing to their cheeks.
Oops, and Lumièra accidentally steps on TJ's foot.
On that stepping of the foot, TJ lets out an ow. We pan across the party once more to find Xainan. Xainan, at this point, you've been hanging out with a couple of bears, right? A couple of folks from House Kuatun who have been talking about the art, who have been treating you even more warmly than they have been. You get the feeling that Sakti's invitation was discussed amongst the house, and they all know that you've been welcomed in if you so choose to cross the threshold with them. And you're in the midst of a conversation with Anugata, who is a little miffed because apparently she's been scolded twice about smoking inside the venue.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was muted.
That is so fine, Samm. Yeah, Anugata looks a bit miffed. She's in this, like, very butch jacket and, like, collared shirt, right? very, very hot mask butch. But she looks kind of angry, and she keeps like raising her hands to her mouth as though she has a cigarette between her fingers, but she doesn't because she's just so used to the motion of it. Duh! Can you believe it? Fucking confiscated it.
Here. And Xainan takes a toothpick out of his drink that he acquired and hands it to her.
Huh. And she puts it between her fangs and kind of chews on it. Hey, that's not bad. How do I look?
Pretty good.
You seem
Does
like the
seem a
type to
little
do
wrong.
this. Yeah? I know, there's no smoke coming out of the end.
Yeah, I've chewed through a good number of those.
Hey, 6 o'clock.
Oh. And Xainan just kind of coyly glances over his shoulder.
And you see at the entrance to the party, leaning against the threshold, Diablo. And their eyes are on you.
You know, all this beautiful art here. I got an artist I gotta go thank for some good work.
Yeah, I bet you gotta thank him. Alright, go on.
Alright, and Xainan just kind of straightens himself up, pats Anu on the arm, and saunters towards Diablo.
As you approach Diablo, you see his party outfit. He is wearing a rich black suit jacket with this kind of cape that drips off his shoulders like wet ink. And it matches the do-rag that he's wearing, also kind of dripping down his back like wet ink. And underneath his suit jacket, you see a collared shirt that's unbuttoned, revealing these chiseled pectorals. And the shirt itself is decorated with text, typeface, an ancient sutra in a contemporary script printed vertically along the buttons. His entire ensemble is innovative, it's eye-catching, it's tasteful, it matches the level of thought and style that many of the artists here have. Kind of raises his head as you approach. Hey.
Hey. You
look nice.
You look more than nice. This is quite a... And Xainan looks Diablo all the way up from his shoes to the top of their head and back down again.
And Diablo does not keep his own roaming eyes secret at all. They travel up and down, lingering on whatever exposed musculature you have to offer. And then a smile, a flash of white fang. Nice pants.
They certainly were an adventure to get into.
I can imagine. You pulling them, straining over it.
Uh-huh. You look like you're quite comfortable. And Xainan steps closer.
Can I rewind that? I meant to deliver that in a funny way.
Yeah,
Not in,
okay.
like a weird sexy way. Like he's like making fun of you for like pulling on those tight leather pants.
Oh, yeah,
But it
okay.
came out weirdly provocative. Let me retry that.
I thought you
Let's
were like fantasizing about
Yep.
the putting on of the pants.
No, it came out wrong. I was trying to do I was going for a comedic delivery.
I was like,
Hold on.
TOS, who gives a shit, right?
I know I went full bulge. I'm so sorry. Rewind. Okay, I'm gonna try that again. I'm just gonna take it from nice pants and we'll go from there. Nice pants.
Thanks. They were exciting to get into.
Well, hey, actually, I think I need to do a checkup on your tattoo. You know, for healing
yeah?
reasons.
And Xainan turns around to show it off, that blackbird's feathers just stretching a little above the collar of his sheer shirt. The rest of it, the red thread on his back peeking through.
Diablo approaches you, and you feel his fingers gently kind of touch where the tattoo begins and ends, like trailing over the raised ink. the now healed over flesh. And they pause at kind of the very bottom of it. And he lets out a low whistle. It looks really good, Xainan. Suits you.
It's very, freeing. I like it a lot.
Birds do represent freedom. And this one is tangled up in something. Shot through the heart, too.
Still flying, though.
Persistent little fella. Actually, the light out in the hall is a bit easier to see by. Mind joining me?
Not at all.
Diablo turns and strides out into the hall outside of the auditorium proper. And the light out here is not better to see by. In fact, it's much dimmer. The only light here filters through nearby windows of starlight. No moonlight. It's a new moon. And as the two of you stand in a shaft of that silver light, he turns to face you, his eyes lighting up. I really mean it, Xainan. You look really nice tonight.
Thank you. It's fun to do something different. Try having a good time here in Inferno in a new way.
Nice to see you let loose. Though, ever since I've known you, you've kind of gotten into trouble for letting loose, haven't you?
I'm trying to let loose in a way that doesn't involve me, perhaps stealing something important to someone.
And Diablo's fingers rest on your chest. When did he get so close? He'd approached you, and now it's just the two of you here in this hall. You can hear the muffled sounds of the party nearby, but this moment, right in front of you, is all that's on your mind right now. And he says, well, the reckless part of you, I can't deny. It's attractive.
And Xainan laughs, feeling that hand against his chest. Feeling the bare skin that, again, he so easily shows to Diablo, even though it's something that he keeps to himself most of the time. But through knowing them, the layers just fall away. And he doesn't even realize it. And he smiles. It has been so good getting to know you, this city, the way you see it.
I have to be honest, Xainan. I wasn't sure about you at first. I thought...
Why, because I broke your
hot-blooded
shop?
Newcomer. Yes, broke my shop, stolen and got his bike, fought me about it, barely had any control over your thirst. But now... the bears have accepted you. You've done a lot for House Kuatun, and you clearly care about the rest of your family. I really respect that. I like that. You're real, Xainan.
I didn't know who I was when we met. Not really. Freshly undead, freshly reborn. It's been very good getting to know you, getting to know me. And I really like you, Diablo.
Diablo is so close to you now. His smell, his cologne, his eyes are right in front of your face. And he whispers against your lips, "Who are you, Xainan Esch? Who are you choosing to be?"
want to be someone worthy of all the trust given to me.
The kiss is slow. It is soft. It is gentle. It's hazy. It's nice. You don't know how long you've been kissing for. He's holding onto you, a hand around your arm, the other at your waist. What feelings roil within you?
Lightness. Levity. Not an eternity of heavy weight. No stabbing blade of grief, just being present, feeling held, and being happy.
When Diablo pulls away, his pupils are blown wide. There's a flush to him you've not seen before, and honestness and openness. Diablo likes thrill, likes recklessness, likes the fight and the flight and the tug and the pull. But as you've gotten to know them more and more, you also know that he likes authenticity. He needed to get to know you first, Xainan, before he did this. And now the two of you resonate on more than just a physical level. And his hand goes up to kind of the lapel of your shirt and pulls you gently toward him as he backs himself up against the wall. And he whispers against you, "Drink."
And Xainan does nothing in this moment sudden. Nothing greedy, nothing born of desire other than just to be closer to him. And he leans in, smells the sweetness of his skin, and ever so gently drinks.
Seir! Back at the party.
Me?
Yes, you, Seir. Back at the
Connie's
party.
been whipping our asses with these transitions all episode. I'm so tired already.
We find you as around an hour and a half has passed at this point in the party. Yinhe has actually gone off somewhere to scope out a different side of the auditorium, leaving you momentarily by yourself. What activity do we find you engaged in?
Seir wanders a bit more around the space and goes closer to some of the paintings in this space. And he stops at one for a moment and just looks at it up and down, taking in all of the brushwork, the colors, and his fingers begin to feel a little twitch. He needs to do something with their hands. And Seir checks the dhoti pockets and fishes out a napkin that he was given with all the other drinks and snacks that Yinhe himself have been partaking in, and also finds, I think, a pen that he was holding onto for Lumièra. Lumièra, what kind of pen would you carry?
It would be something very pretentious, some type of like feather quill pen, some like fountain ink, like just definitely one that you would have to like, it has like a ink storage, but you would still at some points have to dip into an ink pot. Like what Kai is holding in his hand right now, because irritating, affectionate.
Seir looks at that pen and then realizes that the capillary action has not begun on the pen, places the nib on his tongue, and then starts drawing. He wanders for a little bit before finding an inconvenient wall. He's a large man who decides to park himself at an inconvenient wall, leans back, and looks out into the space. His eyes fall on Lumièra, and I think they fall on people speaking. There's a group of folks around like Lumièra who are laughing. And Seir looks at this scene and begins to draw with that pen onto this sort of like rough napkin piece, this long vertical piece. And he starts a ink sketch of Lumièra, of your beautifully made hair, of you smiling mid-laugh, only the top part of your gorgeous dress that he is sketching out with ink. And right beside you, he draws perfectly from memory the smiling face of their sister. And Seir imagines what Sing would wear. Probably a beautiful salwar kameez with probably some gorgeous golden thread embroidery. Also a dupatta. Beautiful face of makeup, of course. And Seir's lost in it for a while as he's able to continue drawing both your and Sing's face from memory. He needs no reference to draw the both of you. And Seir sits in this sort of wistful longing, layered and complicated and messy. And he just sits there enjoying the small bit of peace and process that he can have on this night.
You don't notice her until she's speaking to you because you're so absorbed in the act of creating. Oh, nice.
Seir jumps a little bit. Usually when Seir partakes in these moments, he is in the confines of his quiet room, or alone on his bed in the apartment. And so, he hears a person's voice, his shoulders raise, and then he turns to the direction of the voice.
It's Yara. The littlest spider here is kind of like looking curiously over your shoulder down at these sketches that you've made, and you see that she's wearing black, white, and gray salwar kameez with this richly patterned scarf and these rich flowing fabrics. And you see a silver nose ring glinting on her face, which complements the sharp-edged eyeliner highlighting bright yellow eyes. And there's a look of like genuinely being impressed on her face. That's really good.
Oh, thanks. Seir very rarely showcases his art to people, so he rarely receives feedback. So the compliment rests uncomfortably, and the thanking also sits odd on his tongue because this is not a position he's been in. Thank you. You look great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm not dressing super elaborate, mostly as like a statement to let my music speak for itself or whatever.
That's not elaborate.
Oh, I mean, I guess by some people's standards. How long have you been drawing for? That's really, really good.
Fuck, I don't know. I think since I was like 4.
Wow.
That wasn't very good then, though. I've made some
I was okay when I
funny
was 4.
ones. Oh, you draw too?
No, music stuff.
Oh,
Playing
cool.
concerts and stuff by then. But hey, you got any finished pieces?
Not on me. Why?
You should show them to my sibling. 'Cause this stuff, I mean, I don't know if that's what you want with your art, but you've got a gift for it.
Huh. Never really thought about that before.
Really? You've been drawing since you're 4 and you haven't thought about maybe doing something or going somewhere with your art?
No.
Huh.
It's just, I just draw cause, and Seir pauses. They've never had to articulate why they do art. They just do it. It's instinct. It's Seir's overcome with a feeling, and they sit quietly in a dark room and they do art. They feel a grief for his sister, and there's a charcoal piece in a journal. They feel longing and sheer love for Lumièra, and he draws. He thinks of Xainan's sharp angular features of honestly sheer coolness and this sheer sort of like gravitas around him, and he draws. It's instinct, and Seir finds that hard to kind of like articulate this moment until he says, I don't know, I just I feel something and I have to get it out, I guess. I don't always have stuff on hand to do it, so sometimes I just have to wait till I don't know. I just do it because I want to. Also, I don't know, it feels kind of weird to have so many people look at something I make, you know?
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, that was me up until, like, literally now, I guess. Honestly, I'm being kind of a
Wait,
hypocrite
really?
with you, because up until this moment, I never even really thought about sharing my own original stuff, like, publicly.
Oh.
Like, playing other people's music, you know, concertos and stuff, like, that's, like, whatever, but, like, yeah. And there, a look comes over Yara's face, almost like by asking you, why haven't you shared this with other people? It's almost like she's held up a mirror to herself in this moment. Yeah, well, anyway.
I mean,
sorry.
I'm looking forward to hearing your music. My boyfriend and I were hoping to dance to it. I don't know if that's what you do at album release parties. So if
Dance.
that's not what we're meant to do, we won't.
Actually, that would be cool as hell. If you can find a way to dance to this, like, props.
Can't you dance with all music?
You certainly can. Certainly can. Actually, I think I need to go up now. It's like almost time. Good running into
Right.
you though. Thanks for coming.
No, and Seir, like, as he trails off, there's a feeling as Yara's about to leave, where he thinks about, like, the eyes linger on this whole thing. If all of this work for Yara, whose personality is now finally forming in Seir's head, of, oh, if Yara didn't suddenly feel this draw, then maybe they were encouraged to, just like how Seir was encouraged to draw on and share his art in this moment by Yara, and it just clumsily falls out of his mouth. You know Ray loves you, right?
Yara looks like you slapped her. I gotta go.
Look,
And she turns around and just without looking at, like, all goodwill between you feels like you've sliced at it with a sword and it's snapped, it's gone. She rushes away from you, kind of like hurrying as she approaches the stage.
Fuck. So much more normal.
As Yara Thakrar gets onto the stage, this din of conversation, laughter, good social mores around here, all of this dies down as hungry eyes fix onto the youngest spider. And to her credit, Yara looks unbothered as soon as she steps into the spotlight. Like whatever strange, like, jitteriness you put on her, Seir, in those last moments before she goes on stage, she's able to kind of like either brush away or like tamp down in this moment. As she very quickly checks the various instruments and pedals that have already been set up on the stage for her. You see an electric sitar here, a bank of blinking MIDI controllers there, and finally, as the last conversation bubbles down to a close, Yara speaks into the mic that is taped to the side of her jaw. She addresses the audience. Hi. Thanks for coming. And thank you to Professor Ifueko and House Huyen for hosting this event. This has been a really great evening so far, actually, so let's give them all a hand. Yes. Thank you, Professor. It means a lot to see the entire city here with me tonight. Actually, on a personal note, it is no secret that I tend to make art alone, by myself, and that my music hasn't historically been for other people, or people at all, really. So, I'd like to thank my mother, Willow Thakrar, for teaching me what it means to be an artist and a spider, and I'd like to thank my sibling, Rhododendron Thakrar, for encouraging me. And Yara pauses. And Nova, you can sense that most of what she's said is carefully rehearsed, but performed in such a way that it feels off the cuff and natural, except for that final line, that piece of gratitude toward Ro. That isn't rehearsed, that's genuine. And Yara continues. Anyway, we have 8 minutes until midnight right now, and 8 minutes until the album drops on Pair Music and Dottify and wherever you listen to stuff. So I figured I would play 2 of my personal favorites from my new album, The Web. This is Your Grave, followed by Family Tree. Enjoy. And the crowd applauds. There's some murmuring of excitement at the names of these tracks, and Yara turns to face her imposing arrangement of devices. And she begins. Dreamy synths swell from the speakers, layering and building and building and layering until a guttural growl of industrial noise slices through like a thunderbolt, piercing a storm, and then the first song explodes in earnest, a rollicking diatribe through sounds that really shouldn't work together, but somehow really do. It's masterful, the way Yara flits from instrument to instrument on stage, screaming into the mic, mixing effects and filters live, stomping on pedals, turning dials. At one point, she picks up an electric acrylic, completely transparent violin while belting, sawing a 3-part harmony against herself on the strings. And this entire time, we see Anise standing to the side of the stage, signing along to the music and providing interpretation. Her hands are a river of motion, dexterously holding the shifting lyrics and changing tempo, while Yara creates and improvises. The movements of their fingers, hands, wrists, and arms are intimate and insightful as the littlest spider crescendos into a bridge. It's an incredible set. Seir, as the music fills this auditorium and completely hypnotizes everyone in the audience, omens call to you in a variety of sounds and images. What does this one feel like?
Seir sits in this moment, and I think Yinghe might have come and joined in to the main area, and they're not the 2 of them are not fully dancing, but they're at the very least, like, there's so many people here, they're at the very least like enjoying the music together, and the music slows, discordant and Seir starts looking at all of the people. Omens and Doom are the people in Inferno. And his eyes flit to Yara, who is shadowed by these haloed versions of themselves. And those form dominoes in his head. And he sees a single domino clicking as a series of other dominoes fall behind it.
Lumièra, it is no small thing to watch someone truly embrace their calling. In this moment, Yara is both lost in the music and completely found. How does her song harmonize with your own?
I think music, regardless of what form or genre that it comes in, is transformative and relative to whoever is on the receiving end of that. So I think what Lumièra hears, instead of not necessarily a discophony of different sounds that are blending together, but what I think more than anything else is she's hearing the blending of it all, the weaving of all the different parts and pieces that make up one whole big broader picture. I think that is what she hears and what's like kind of flowing through her as she's just like vibing, like two-stepping, swaying side to side while she's listening.
Xainan, you're a little preoccupied right now, but even you can hear and feel the soft vibrations of the music from outside of the auditorium. How does it vibrate through the dust in your soul?
There is harmony. Deep, resonant harmony coming from a river and the dust echoing inside of him. A dead man surrounded by dead people. All of them so alive. And he feels so alive.
Ro, you can feel the vibrations of this sonic landscape through the thin filaments of the web. You know these songs. You've been there while Yara worked and crafted them. How are they different tonight?
They are freer than anything that Ro has ever seen pass by Yara's face, Yara's eyes, in her hands. And Ro is beaming, watching the littlest spider in her element. And not only that, but that they get to see Yara for who they really are. And everyone else does too. Gets to meet Yara for the first time, really meet her in this moment. This is different because it's a conversation with everyone else in the room. Yara is introducing herself to them for the first time in a real way. And Ro is filled with pride and an emotion that Ray would never admit to.
With 30 seconds left until midnight, Yara Thakrar finishes her set, and the auditorium erupts into raucous applause. The lights above pulse and flash. Yara is sweating, nodding, riding out that high from the final simmering warble of her electric 12-string guitar. She bows, and when she straightens, the ghost of a smile flickers on her face. This is Yara, raw and unfiltered, all of her pride open on that stage. Midnight comes, midnight passes. The audience is still clapping, cheering, but now we all hear dings, Notification sounds across people's various devices. A few guests check their phones, raising their eyebrows, nodding with impressed expressions. Because now that the album is live, the press embargo has been lifted, and the reviews are pouring in. And based on the looks around all of you, you can garner that the initial feedback from this room and from Inferno at large is overwhelmingly positive. And up on that stage, Yara beams, her chest heaving, eyes swimming across this sea of listeners until they find you, Ro. But then, Seir, as the dings continue to sound, as glowing review after glowing review pours in, dread begins to pool in your chest. Not just dread, doom. With each ding, each review, the doom thuds louder and louder, stronger and stronger, a bad storm rising on a horizon you cannot see, but your body, your heart, your soul knows it before your mind can catch up. An omen is coming. It is falling like a blade in front of your eyes, and then you hear it. The first chuckle, a snicker, a small intake of breath amidst the applause, and then more and more. Heads are bowing, hands are stilling, phone screens are flashing. A murmur begins to build, a whisper, at first buried by the dying applause, but growing louder and louder as the clapping subsides and more eyes turn toward personal devices and up on stage. Yara frowns, she falters. She can sense it too. Something is amiss. And then, Seir, you feel a tug on your sleeve. And Yinhe pulls the pear pad out from your pocket and is shoving it underneath your face, showing its screen to you. Their silver eyes are wide and concerned, and on the screen, you see a review of Yara's album, posted by a Songbird Studios. And the review is scathing. I'm gonna cut it right there. Thank you all so much for tuning in so far. Oh, our first stream back after 3 weeks off. So good to be back in the swing of very normal good things happening to everyone all the time. See you in just about 10 minutes. Bisho.
Howdy, Transplaners! You know what time it is. It's sponsor Connie time with a word from Hero Forge. Hero Forge has officially leveled up with kit bashing. When you become a pro member, you can place up to 20 more items anywhere on one of your blorbos with their own independent scaling, rotation, and movement. You can make your character look exactly as they should, even if the specific clothing or accessory option isn't available at the base level. You just have to get a little creative. And because I love you, Transplaners, here's a special sneak peek at a kit bashed version of Oblivion. Just look at those wings and that base. This would not be possible without the power of kit bashing. The combinations are literally endless, and you can print your kit bashed blorbos as plastic minis, standees, digital STL files, or even Hero Forge's brand new color statuettes. Color statuettes are twice the size of a regular mini, and just look at this. I mean, look at how massive this is, and especially in comparison to a regular mini, you can really get into all the nooks and crannies and details that wouldn't be as apparent on a regular sized mini. Just look at how Oblivion dwarfs Oka here. And also, if you're a GM, consider busting out one of these bad boys during a boss fight to really get your players shaking in their boots. Oblivion agrees. Unlock the true power of Hero Forge with a Hero Forge Pro subscription starting at $3.99 a month. Get in there and start creating at bit.ly/transforge. Now, let's get back to the show. Or more likely, just more of the waiting room. Trust in her will.